The dirt tasted like rust and regret. My cheek lay pressed against the gravel, split open where bone met stone, blood soaking into the earth like a confession no one wanted to hear. Boots shuffled past, voices hovering above me in cruel orbit. "Looks finished. Never thought he'd break, but there it is." They spoke as if I were furniture, broken, useless, ready for the curb. They didn't know the truth. The version of me that hit the ground wasn't weak. It was just overwhelmed. Overwhelmed by the weight of 1,000 expectations, by the inches I'd already clawed across unforgiving terrain, by the echo of every failure trailing me like hungry dogs. I might hit the floor. I might break. I might bleed. But I don't stay down. Ever. I felt the tremor before the roar. It started deep, below thought, beyond language. A pulse in the marrow that cracked like thunder against the coffin walls of my doubt. Breath scraped through my throat, metallic, ragged, alive. And then the scream. Not from the crowd, not from the sky, from somewhere inside the wreckage of my ribs. "Get up." It wasn't motivation. It was rebellion. A furious refusal to accept the cold verdict hovering in the air. I tasted blood, spit it out, and let the copper sting remind me I was still here, still mine to command. The internal war exploded. A voice, silky with failure, hissed in my ear. "Stay down. No shame in surrender." My body, a cathedral of pain, chimed in with its own gospel. "We're done. Everything hurts. Give up." But my heart beat a different drum, one brutal syllable at a time. One more round. Fingers curled into the soil like roots starved for water. My elbows dug trenches beside me as I dragged myself an inch, then another. Every pebble carved a new sentence of agony across my skin, yet every scrape wrote the same defiant headline: "I'm still moving." The world above blurred, faces, clouds, the indifferent sun, all smearing together while gravity did its worst. But I measured progress differently. 2 knuckles forward, a grunt, a ragged breath, a knee planted, another grunt. Back bowed, spine shuddering beneath weight both literal and imagined. Pain flashed white. My vision strobed like broken headlights cutting through night rain. The voice of surrender came again, sweeter this time, offering comfort, relief, numbness. "Lay here. They'll forgive you. You tried." I answered by clenching my jaw so hard my teeth threatened to crack. A growl crawled up my throat. Animal, unpolished, mine. I pushed. The ground gave nothing, but my will took everything. 1 foot braced beneath me, trembling, slick with dirt and blood. My calf cramped, a hot blade twisting under the skin. Doesn't matter. I planted the other foot. Knees wobbled, torso listing like a ship taking on water. The crowd's murmurs shifted, confusion replacing certainty. Their eyes said what their mouths couldn't swallow. "He's still trying? Trying." Number refusing. Refusing to accept failure. Refusing to be counted out. Refusing to let anyone but me write the final line of my story. I straightened an inch at a time, vertebrae stacking like shaky dominoes. Each breath was a bargain struck between agony and resolve. Sweat crawled through cuts, igniting them with wildfire sparks. My heartbeat hammered raw defiance into my ears. Standing wasn't victory. It was invitation to more pain, to longer odds, to the next brutal mile. But standing proved one eternal fact. My will is non-negotiable. I lifted my eyes. The same people who'd condemned me now stepped back, uncertainty erasing their smirks. I could almost hear the metal groan of their narratives bending, breaking. Good. Let them rewrite their stories around my refusal. But this moment wasn't for them. It was for the part of me that dared to believe the impossible. The child who once stood in front of cracked mirrors, flexing phantom muscles, promising the reflection we'd become unbreakable. The teenager who studied empty cupboards and swore hunger would never own us again. The adult who'd swallow disappointment until it tasted like breakfast. I took a step. The earth trembled, not from my weight, but from the seismic shift of destiny tearing old blueprints apart. With each stride, the internal chorus evolved. Stay down. A fading whisper. Give up. A distant echo. One more round. Now, a war drum synced to my pulse. Memories surged. Every late-night grind when eyelids felt like weights. Every cold morning run where breath crystallized midair. Every rejection letter. Every door slammed. Every snicker behind my back. They weren't wounds. They were weld lines forging a spine of tempered steel. The body argued again, muscles protesting like prisoners rattling their bars. I answered with deeper breaths, feeding them pure resolve instead of oxygen. I whispered to my scars, "You are proof, not punishment." They glimmered like metals in the sun. The arena, literal or metaphorical, take your pick, didn't change. The dust still hung, the obstacles still sneered, the opponents, external and internal, still circled. The only thing different was me. And that difference was everything. Because I remembered something the ground tried to make me forget. I've been here before. First fall, I was clueless but stubborn. Second fall, I was wiser but tired. 10th fall, I was seasoned, scarred, and still relentless. 100th fall. Well, you're looking at it. Each time I rose, I carried the ghosts of older defeats on my shoulders, not as burdens, but as marching orders. They chanted in unison now. Forward, forward, forward. I don't rise to prove you wrong. Your doubt is background noise, static I tune out. I rise to prove to myself that the engine inside my ribs obeys no external command. It revs only for orders signed by conviction. The wind shifted, carrying the metallic tang of my blood mixed with the dust I'd eaten. It smelled like truth, like reality stripped of polite lies. I rolled my shoulders, feeling tendons stretch and complain, feeling bones knit determination into their sockets. Every crawl across that ground, every grunt torn from my lungs, every inch I fought for is carved into the ledger of who I am. They're receipts for the price I'm willing to pay. I might fight limping. I might swing with cuts still open. I might taste defeat again. Maybe tomorrow, maybe 100 rounds from now. But understand this, defeat is a moment, not a definition. And moments don't last. I do. The sun dipped lower, drawing long shadows that stretched like bridges back to the place I fell. Good. Let them mark the distance traveled. Let anyone who doubts walk that shadow, feel the heat still radiating from each footprint. I raised my chin and locked eyes with the horizon. Vast, burning, unconcerned with human stories. Perfect. Because my story isn't begging for the horizon's approval. It's storming toward it. A hush fell over the onlookers. Some felt awe, some fear, some silent shame for ever writing me off. None of that mattered. Audience reactions don't fuel me. Inner fire does. A flame that refuses to die, even when life dumps entire oceans on it. I flexed my hands, knuckles scabbed, nails packed with earth. Tools of a builder, not a beggar. With them I will forge new chapters, blacksmith pages hammered on anvils of adversity. and every sentence will glow white-hot with the truth that I choose. So here's the warning, etched in the same voice that once screamed, "Get up," now tempered, deadly calm. You can knock me down 100 times, but the moment I rise again, it's your problem now. Because I didn't just get up, I came back to finish it.